And you've been mentioning the States, the US, the US. You
Yes,
are in the
yes.
US at the moment. What are you doing
Yes,
there?
I'm currently. So I came to the US as a Hans DeWitt Fellow. So this is one of the competitive fellowships that Boston College, the Center rather of International Higher Education gives. So Hans DeWitt, if people do look him up, is one of the influential scholars in the space of higher education. So post his retirement, this became an honor of his work. He's still with us, and I've chatted to him quite briefly. And I have been very honored to be able to read and engage with the work of someone who's doing this wonderful work. And just to also speak about the fellowship broadly a bit, is that the fellowship looks for people mostly from the global south, people who've never been trained in any global north institute, someone who's never lived in the global north, just giving them a mobility opportunity to explore
Mm.
research projects, to be able to connect and network with scholars from the global north, and rather to expose also and to contribute their knowledge to the global north, because it's not like a one-sided relationship. So I think it's a very good opportunity, and I've really enjoyed my stay here.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah,
Glad to hear that
yeah.
you are enjoying your stay, or you have enjoyed. So you're about to leave.
Unfortunately, on Tuesday, 25th November, I will be flying back to South Africa on a very long flight. But yeah,
All good things must come to an end, right?
yep.
But so if you don't mind, I mean, I'm not in any position to ask about your what you've learned while in the US,
Okay.
but I'm curious in terms of the socio-political context of South Africa and that of the US. South Africa was a settler colony. The US is. And how would you gauge, living in South Africa, living in the US, navigating issues of identity and belonging as a Black woman in South Africa and as an African woman in the United States? Did anything of that sort, um, did you experience any sort of disorientation, so to speak?
Besides the time zone difference, disorientation, because they have this weird thing that happens in November where the time is adjusted to more 7 hours. I really find it very distorting, to a point that I missed one of the meetings I usually have on Friday mornings at 8. But that's besides the point. But I think one thing that I have learned about being here is that the United States as a country is very diverse. And depending on the state that you're in, you get deferred experiences. I had my own thoughts about what my experience would actually look like being here because of how it is televised and some of the snippets that we see on different news feeds about America gives you a different ideology. But I think one thing that I've taken out from being in Boston as an area, Massachusetts, the state, is that it's one of the states that is respected because most of the Ivy League universities are here. So when you are here as an outsider, they take it into confidence that you are here for a good reason and not for any,
Mm,
dodgy reasons,
mm,
to a point that I've never been asked to produce my passport or show identity for anything. I've never been randomly stopped by police officers, even though I see them when I jog in the morning. They just greet. So it's been quite a different experience from what I had in my mind and what I would have expected. So I think that's one key takeaway, is that it depends where you are, because different states also carry different ideologies, if I could put it. But one thing is that I stood out because it's not a state that has a lot of black people. Even on campus, I stood out quite a lot. So if I were to miss a seminar, they would know that I'm missing because I would be the only black person in the room.
Yeah.
But people have been inquisitive rather to ask about South Africa and to ask points of clarity regarding all political issues between South Africa and the United
It's
States.
good you brought that up, the political issues recently, or maybe sometime. I don't know if it was this year that your president and a few others in
Yeah.
his cabinet had to go meet Trump to tell him
Yes.
that there was no genocide
Yeah.
against the white South Africans. And Trump has been, I think, trying to intervene in so many other contexts, including Nigeria. Uh,
Mm.
what did you face questions like that? Do people come
Yeah.
to ask if indeed their president is right about what is happening in South Africa?
Yes, yes, definitely. And I think also they suffered the very same thing that I have suffered is that we are we are depending on television and what it's telling us. And also media has its own politics because it is driven by different ideologies and they are I would say that because a lot of media houses are owned by different individuals with their own political agenda, so what we see sometimes is not the reality and the truth. So most people who were interested to know wanted to know what is really happening in South Africa. I had to explain some of the snippets of apartheid. I have to explain also what is happening specifically with the white farmers because that was the issue. It was not just the white South Africans at large, but it was the white farmers. And I also asked critical questions to look at the 40 people who were taken from South Africa and look at their credentials to verify whether those are farmers, to verify that what is being said is necessarily the truth. And we looked at stats that shows us that for the longest of time, if not all the black political parties in South Africa are talking about one thing, they're talking about bringing back land to black people. So now the question is, if white people are the ones that are being victimized in South Africa, why would we have such slogans? And another thing is that some of the things you find well in history, because the reason why we even had apartheid is because we had a racialized institution and a racialized access to life. So why would now all of a sudden it's the white people who are being experiencing genocide, and there has been no proof of that. Because I don't know how many people would need to actually die for something to be called genocide. I think it's something we've been exposed to in our political science classes, and none of that has happened. None of that has been documented. So I think that people were just riding a wave of trying to disorientate the true issue that is happening in South Africa is that a lot of Black South Africans are still not economically emancipated, and that's the core issue.
Hmm. I think at this
Yeah.
point, your president should consider giving you an ambassadorial position to add to to your accolades. Uh, what would be your advice? You have a lot of following on social media. I also gathered that you have a podcast and
Yes.
you are a thought leader. What would be your advice to young people? I know people have been reaching out to you, asking you questions,
Yes.
opportunities. What would you generally tell young people struggling to understand their trajectory in life?
Mm, mm, mm. I think I like that you also bring up the podcast because on the podcast we do speak about issues of development, identity, and purpose. And one has to understand what they stand for. Understand, like, do a SWOT analysis of yourself. We're always told to do a SWOT analysis of anything else but besides ourselves. We need to know what you're good at, what you're not good at. What is that one thing that is passion? What is that one thing that keeps you up at night when you think about? And also to understand what is your purpose? What is the very thing that you have come to contribute in this earth for? And once those things are developed, once those things are clarified, it becomes a good launching pad for you to get into your career. And I think it's very important to have the willingness to learn because fortunately, I also get exposed to a lot of young people in my lecture halls when I teach. And they have this very skewed idea of academic trajectory or just career trajectory at last. A lot of them think that by the virtue of just having a degree, it means that they qualify to be an ambassador. And so you find that some of them don't want to take these small opportunities that we took, such as working in the library, working as a tutor, because those are the opportunities that give you experience. Because the job market doesn't pay for a degree, it pays for experience, expertise. Because I always say to people that if there are 10 people in the room with the same degree as you, what is that one thing that makes you stand out? That's the thing that employers are looking for. They are not looking for degrees because they know that there's thousands and thousands of people. And the only way that you get to know what your contribution is by discovery. It's by knowing what you are able to bring to the table. And also it's about creativity, being innovative and thinking outside of the box. So I think for a lot of young people, even during that waiting time, that waiting period of not having a job, volunteer some way, expose yourself because what really counts is also the experience that you have.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow. I would love to hear more, you speaking, and I truly enjoyed having this chat with you, taking us through your journey from South Africa and being an academic and your exploits around the world. We just mentioned the US. I didn't want to mention the other places that you've been to and other places you will also go. So keep inspiring, keep doing the great work that you're doing. We see you and we are learning from you. And thank you for coming here today to share with us. I wanted to see if you've got any question. I usually don't ask my guests if they've got any question to ask. I'm usually the one asking all the questions. Have you got any question or anything else you would like to say?
Well, just to thank you for the opportunity first. I know that we have long awaited this. We kept postponing and finally it happened. And also, I just wanted also to get from you, because probably at the beginning I might have missed it, the sort of platform and the people that you are talking to in this space and in your podcast.
Right. So these are people that don't read our work. Um,
That's a nice way to put it.
so we're trying to that which we write about daily, and people don't have access because of the paywalls and all. I thought of this forum as one where we could dissect ideas, talk about
Wow.
things and issues that a lot of our friends and family members do not have access through the articles, the journals, the books that you guys work so hard to put out there.
Yeah,
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 so
yeah,
this is a forum to engage because I just felt if I was this academic that did not have any sort of resonance, with my own people, then it doesn't make sense, does it?
yeah,
And
yeah,
again, these are also stories about, people doing their thing. I'm a storyteller and I love to listen to stories. So I
yeah,
enjoy listening to your story. So if not for anything, just to share stories and
yeah.
and have a good time.
Yeah, thank you so much for the clarity, and I hope that your viewers, your listeners will take something out of this. And yeah, thank you for the invite.
They certainly would. Thank you. All right. Enjoy the rest of your time in the US and have a safe trip back to South Africa.
Thank you so much.
Great.